Greetings, friends and strangers alike. Welcome, one and all. Pokemon Gold with only Marill was a hard challenge, but one I actually managed to cheese my way through. Let's take a step away from Pokemon for this challenge, however, as we find out if I can beat Fallout 4 using only a Pool Cue. So the Pool Cue is one of the worst melee weapons for damage output in the base game. It has a base damage of 13, and although there are few weapons with lower damage, its slow swing speed means it has the lowest DPS rating at 7.37 without any upgrades. So while I'll likely kill weaker enemies in one shot, I'll be vulnerable due to low swing speed. I think I could definitely beat the game, but I can see myself dying a lot. Right, let's get to the rules of the challenge. Firstly, I can only use the Pool Cue to deal damage, meaning I cannot use any other weapons during the entire playthrough, including explosives. And second, no power armor. It's a huge buff to damage resistance, and I want to see if I can beat the game without it. So let's see what we can do. So we start the game by doing what millions of us did during the 2020 lockdown, sit on the sofa and watch TV. Then the most unrealistic part of the game happens as I answer the door to a stranger. For my stats, I obviously need my strength as high as possible since it affects melee damage. Because I put some points elsewhere to pick up specific perks that I think will be useful, I leave strength at 9 for now, but we'll max it out soon. So right from the start, we're faced with a bit of a problem. The game throws some rad roaches at you to tutorialise you on the combat, but as per the rules, we can't deal any damage without a Pool Cue. So I have to dodge, duck, dip, dive and dodge my way around the huge roaches and trap them behind doors so I can escape the vault. And we can't pick up the Pip-Boy while we're in combat, so we have to just wait it out. So now we're out of our man cave, we need to track down our weapon of choice. Before that though, I head back to my house to pick up the special book underneath our son's crib to max out my strength. And I also grab the Grognak comic on the kitchen counter. It helps melee crit damage, so I think I'm going to find as many of these as I can. So on to finding our Pool Cue. We could get lucky and get one as a drop from raiders since they're pretty common at low levels, but to get them to drop it, I need to kill them. But to kill them, I need a Pool Cue. To avoid this paradox, I instead decide to head to a location that has one lying around. I know there's one in a building in the Boston Common called the Boylston Club, so let's head there. Whilst wandering around totally not getting lost, I hit level 2. Since I don't have any way of dealing damage yet, I just pick up the toughness perk so I take less damage. So as I get close to the building, I think I accidentally aggroed Swan. Or it might have been the raider that was chasing me. Anyway, the raider gets pounded into the dirt, and then Swan races after me. God, that was scary. So now we have our weapon, let's start the game for real. But first I need to see if Swan is still aggroed outside. Nope, all good. While I'm here though, I pick up the second Grognak comic that's near Swan's Pond. So I decide to head back to Sanctuary Hills and upgrade my Pool Cue right away, since you don't need any perks to do so. So I upgrade it to do some lingering bleed damage. That's it. This is the best this weapon can get through upgrades. This is a small nitpick, but even though I taped a knife to the end of my cue, essentially turning it into a spear, my guy still swings it like he would a bat, or well, a Pool Cue. It would have been cool for a different animation, but whatever. So as I make my way to Concord, I pick up Dog Meat and hit level 3. I take the Life Giver perk for more health. I think I'm going to need it. I get into Concord, but the raiders are already dead. I did go around when I came through here to find my Pool Cue, but I guess I was still in the vicinity to trigger the encounter. That's weird. I head into the museum and I one-shot every raider in here, but I expected that this early on. I chat up Preston and the gang and head back outside to deal with more raiders. It's easy enough, what with Dog Meat distracting them long enough for me to get the kill. But my good luck runs out when a Deathclaw makes itself known. I try to skewer him with my stick, but he snaps me and my stick over his knee. Time to find a workaround. If I stand inside a building, he can't get in because he's such a chunky boy, but his head still clips through the wall and I can hit him. This plan isn't foolproof though. Eventually we manage to tickle him to death, and the first major hurdle of the game is brought down by exploiting the AI. That's a classic Bethesda game right there. Also, that fight got me to level 4, so I take the Big League perk for more melee damage. We killed all the raiders, we receive our reward from Preston, and we get our next destination, Diamond City. Let's head there. I stop for a second to sell off all the weapons and ammo I've collected and buy out this lady's supply of stim packs, since I went through a fair few in the fight with the raiders. I think I'm going to need as many stim packs as I can get my hands on. On the way to Diamond City, I stop and help out Paladin Dance and his crew. And fighting ghouls has been so annoying so far. They swing faster than I can with their attacks, so mine get interrupted every single time. It's so annoying. I can see this being a problem when fighting a lot of melee combatants at once. After giving Dance some sassy quips, he kicks me out of his treehouse club. You're welcome, by the way. After that scuffle, I also hit level 5. I'm not a high enough level for the second big league perk yet, so I take Bloody Mess. It's a small damage buff. So we make it to Diamond City and we're off to track down Nick Valentine. I head to the Park Street station and find it full of triggermen, and man, this place is rough. Once I get down into this big open area, I'm forced to sprint it into cover and trying to pick them off as they rip me to shreds if I try to attack in the open. I take them out on a second attempt and hit level 6. I take the moving target perk since it seems like it's going to be useful in open areas like this. So I make it through the vault, grab Nick and hightail it out of there. Oh hey, I got the bloody mess explosion. That's awesome. So on the way out we have to deal with Skinny Malone and I am out of stimpaks at this point, so this fight is rough. After a few failed attempts I decide to just run past them and make my escape and hope that Nick follows me. Well, he did for a second before going back into the station and walking all the way back to the fight. Nick, buddy, we could have just escaped. Well, damn, I guess I have to fight after all. So I chug all the water I have to heal and take some Psycho for the damage resistance. I just about scraped through the fight and we finally leave. Thanks a lot, Nick. So after buying all the stim packs I can afford, we chat it up with Nick about our missing son. I like that Nick just breezes past the part where we tell him we were cryogenically frozen. You'd think that would cause more of a stir, but I guess Nick just keeps on task. So we figure out our son's kidnapper might be a man named Kellogg, but we need the key to his house. I failed to chat up the mayor's assistant, and I don't even have enough caps to bribe her.
You seem to be a little light on cash there, killer.
I love how desperate my guy sounds on the last speech attempt. It's beautiful.
Trust me. It's important. You have my word.
You really thought that would work, didn't you? I don't think so.
Mayor McDonough tells me to pound sand too, so fine. I guess I'll go and scrounge up the 8 more caps I need for the bribe. So we search Kellogg's house and I decide to bring Nick along with me on the hunt because I love his voice acting. I also hit level 7 and we take the medic perk. If I'm going to chew through stim packs as fast as I have done, then I need them to be healing more. So we hunt Kellogg by using dog meat to track his scent, and we run into this Yaoguai? Yaoguai? Is that how you pronounce it? Why is it not just called a rad bear or something? Because that's what it is. It's an irradiated bear. I don't know. Anyway, it pounds me into the dirt. I think my pool cue just annoyed it more than anything. Second attempt at this guy, and a pack of feral ghouls stumble into the fray. I think one of them even kill steals me. Oh hey, a legendary musket. That's cool. So we get to our destination, Fort Hagen. We leave Dogmeat behind and head in. I have a feeling that the synths in here won't take much damage from my pole cue, so I try to activate this convenient Protectron to help out. I don't know if I did it wrong by setting it to law enforcement, but it just walks around, not fighting anything. Great. Anyway, I hit level 8 and take the second level of the Big Leagues perk. The synths in here are taking 3 to 4 shots apiece, so I need more damage. Hey, check it out! I knocked this baton out of this synth's hand and it tried to run away and hide. You're an unfeeling, merciless android. Why are you running? Also, check out this synth. He looks so surprised that I killed him that he just comedically falls backwards. Man, these synths are hilarious. Right, time to take on Kellogg. I did hope to have a critical hit saved for this fight, but unfortunately I had to use it to take out a powerful synth in the tunnels. So we get into the fight and it actually goes great. I get some good shots in before he can run away with his stealth bite, and I retreat to take out the synths. That done, I charge back in and take him out. I honestly did not expect it to go that well. So we head outside and here comes the Pridwin. Man, when I first saw this thing coming over the hills, I thought it was so cool. I actually did a let's play of this game way back when it was new, but unfortunately I never finished it. Feel free to go back and watch it though if you like. Then Nick just comes out with some random poetry. Is that real or just a random quote for this game? Hang on, let me check. Ha! It's real! It's from The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. That's awesome. I've never read that, so I don't know. So there are a few Grognak comics I can pick up on my way back, so I'm going to try and do that. I try for the one at the Mass Bike interchange, but I get blown away by the gunners up here. At one point I just tried sprinting past them all to grab the comic and sprint out, but even that takes a couple of tries. That Assaultron of theirs is brutal. The next one along my path home is inside Vault 81, so let's have a look.
Fusion cores. 3 to be exact.
Oh, they want 3 fusion cores in exchange for entrance. I don't have that many. Oh well, I'll come back later. The other place I wanted to check out is this riverfront store named Backstreet Apparel. The raiders in here aren't too tough, though the ones with a switchblade are really annoying. They don't do much damage to me, but they have a fast swing speed, which means they keep interrupting my attacks. So we get back to Diamond City and bring Piper up to date on the situation. There is some back and forth where Nick dislikes that I said I would kill Kellogg again if I could. You know, the guy who murdered my wife and stole my child. That guy. You know, Nick's personality comes from a pre-war cop whose wife and child were murdered by this crime boss, and there's a quest that Nick has where he wants to take revenge on this guy. But he dislikes that I want to do the same thing. Damn synth, such a hypocrite, man. Anyway, Nick gets the idea to head to a place called the Memory Den to look into Kellogg's memories to see if we can find out more about the Institute. So, time to head there. Upon completing this latest quest, we hit level 9, so I take the second level in Life Giver. More health makes me happy. On the way there, I decide to stop in at Trinity Tower, because there's something in here that I want. Let's see how my pull queue does against super mutants. It takes 3 to 4 shots, not too bad, but that could be a problem if there's more than one. So I get to the top, and this guy's camping the stairs with a minigun like we're playing Call of Duty. Second attempt, and I knock it out of his hands and pummel him to death. Not so tough now, are you, big guy? Here, Nick, have a minigun. Anyway, this is what I'm here for, the melee bobblehead. I'm going to start hitting real hard with crits now. Look how hilariously small this sledgehammer looks in Strong's hands. This is ridiculous. You know, we kind of look like a D&D party making our escape here. My player's a generic human fighter with a cliche quest for revenge backstory. Nick is a Warforged rogue that has this massive long backstory full of wacky adventures and heroic deeds, yet somehow is still only level 1. Strong is a half-orc barbarian that talks like a joke character and only came up with his name on the day of session 1. And Rex is a human bard that dumped all his physical stats in order to max out his charisma, and he attempts to talk his way out of ridiculous hostile situations. There's a free one to use for your next campaign. So after rescuing these guys, I hit level 10 and take the second level of the toughness perk. So we reach Good Neighbour, and I head into the memory den to see what we can find out from Kellogg's brain. I'm not going to go through this whole sequence since it would take too long, but by the end we find out that teleportation is the only way in and out of the Institute. You know, I actually kind of like this portion. It's nice seeing Kellogg's backstory, even if it is a little cliche. And although I've never played the older Fallout games, I like the little references they dropped to, I think, Fallout 2, with things like the NCR and the Hub and San Francisco and stuff like that. Plus, I just love listening to Kellogg talk about every little thing in the room.
Looking back, by comparison with what comes after, that you really understand, that's what happiness felt like.
I really like a lot of the voice acting in this game. Hey, speaking of great voice acting, Nick pulls me aside after this and we have a little heart-to-heart where he tells me about how he became Diamond City's detective. For all its flaws, this game really does have some great little moments. So we have to head towards the Glowing Sea, which I think is where the nuke that wiped out Boston hit. I did state in the rules that I wouldn't be using power armor, so we're going to need a lot of Radix and Radaway to get through this area. While on the road, I hit level 11, and I take the next level of Bloody Mess for more damage. I think our regular attacks still need a bit more bite to them. So the Glowing Sea actually isn't too bad. I just have to keep topping myself off with Radix and Radaway. I did run into a pack of rad scorpions that got a little dicey, but otherwise I made it through to the Children of Atom, who point me in the direction of Dr. Virgil, the rogue Institute scientist who's hiding out here. There is a Deathclaw sleeping right outside his cave. Let's see if I can fare any better against it this time. I've leveled up, I'm stronger. Nope, he shoves his claw straight up my butt and uses me like a hand puppet. I guess we'll just leave him there. You hold him back, Nick. So I talked to Virgil here, who at some point has turned into a super mutant. I guess that explains how he's alive out here, huh? He tells me I'm going to have to hunt down a synth Corsair as they have a direct connection to the teleportation device used to get in and out of the Institute. Upon completing this quest, we hit level 12 and I take the Blitz perk. I think it could be useful for getting melee hits on hard to reach enemies. So we head to the CIT, which is above where the Institute is located. We track the Corsair down to Green Tech Genetics, which is a building chock full of gunners. I had a bad time with these guys earlier, but I think in close quarters I'll do a lot better. Well, I was almost proven wrong. I don't die on my fight up here, but they ran me close a couple of times. Their laser weapons do so much damage, and I'm forced to chew through a lot of those stimpaks. Once I get to the top, we find the Corsair that was also fighting the gunners to get to an escaped synth. We don't care about that though, we're just here for him. The fight actually goes really well. I end up disarming him with his weapon right at the start of the fight, so he's forced to just punch me. But with him using a stealth bite, I can't see where he is, and he moves around a lot. So I'm in this hilarious situation where I'm getting punched over and over again by an invisible guy like it's a cartoon. Eventually his stealth boy runs out and we take him down. If I didn't take his gun away at the start of the fight, I think that could have been a lot worse. So I decide it's time for an armor upgrade. I've been using Kellogg's outfit for a little while, but I decide to buy a full set of combat armor to reduce the damage I take. It looks really dumb with my vault suit though, we'll have to find some better clothes. Also I hit level 13, so I take the armorer perk to upgrade the armor I just bought. So let's get this Corsair chip decoded. We're pointed towards one of the major factions of the game, the Railroad. So let's go find them.
Next up, the Railroad. Choo-choo.
Yes. Anyway.
God, the sarcastic options are great. So I follow the Freedom Trail to find where the Railroad is located. Oh crap, a super mutant with a mini nuke. I can't get close to him without painting the city with my guts. Let's see if these nice raiders can help. There we go, problem solved. And then I get stuck trying to attack this super mutant with a rocket launcher. I can't get out no matter what I do, so I have to try and kill them so that I can fast travel out, since you can't do that in combat. Thankfully Nick helps a brother out. Bethesda games, man. So I find the Railroad, hack my way past their door, and get a minigun pointed my way. You know, I've never really talked to these guys much in previous playthroughs. I really like Glory and Tinker Tom's voice acting. It's great.
I'm as real a girl as you'll ever meet. The only difference is, I bet your assembly instructions were a hell of a lot more fun. Listen.
So now we have the code, we head back to Dr. Virgil. He tells me I need to choose one of the factions to help me to get into the Institute. Also he has his back turned to me the entire time. Dude, I know you're a super mutant now, but I don't care, you don't have to be ashamed, man. So we have to pick a faction to go with. I decide on the Minutemen, because, hey, why not? Underneath my rugged exterior, I've got a heart of gold that I just want to share with the world.
Oh, good. I was hoping for a chance to rescue some more helpless villagers.
I also hit level 14 and take the second level of Armourer. Alright, let's get to helping some settlements. So we head to help out Tenpine's Bluff by clearing a gang of raiders that's harassing them. For some reason, my guy's voice lines here sound all weird and echoey. That's kind of strange.
If I told you I'm with the Minutemen, would you still want to shoot me?
Anyway, the raiders no problem at all, seeing as how you're supposed to do this at a really low level. I do have a sick pull queue duel with this one guy though. On my way back, I stop at the Wicked Shipping Fleet lockup, and after clearing the ghouls out, I find another Grodnak comic. After helping Tenpine's Bluff, they decide to join our cause. We head back to Sanctuary, and Preston makes me the new General of the Minutemen. Oh, well, I certainly look the part. I hit level 15 and take another point in big leagues. Hopefully I'll start putting out good damage now. So I do a couple more quests for the Minutemen, and I remember to buy some fusion cores before I spend all my money on stimpaks as usual. So let's head to Vault 81 for another Grodnak comic. Damn, the people of this vault have opened a portal to hell apparently. Let's just go ahead and close that up. So we talk to this school teacher and tell a story about the time we killed a Deathclaw. I like that he mentions that I use a pool cue. I wonder if that line's different depending on what weapon you used. Then there's this weird glitch where I'm awkwardly waiting for the kids to say thank you. I can't talk to the teacher anymore, and she just walks around me for a while before the kids finally say thank you. Well, anyway, she gives me the Grognak comic as a reward. I need to get out this buggy hellhole. Holy crap. So back in Sanctuary, I finish up building the machine that will teleport me to the Institute. We get inside and hack some data for Sturgis before a voice comes over the intercom.
I wondered if you might make it here.
Seems they know I was coming. This elevator ride section that shows us a glimpse of the world beyond while a voice talks over the intercom reminds me a lot of the opening to Bioshock. Anyway, we come to the end and finally find Sean, but he clearly doesn't recognise me as his father. I mean, what did my guy expect? He was an infant when we last saw him. Of course he won't know who we are. But then we get the big plot twist. Turns out this 10-year-old Sean is a synth, and the old man that leads the Institute is actually Sean. I won't talk too much about this whole part of the story, but I'll point you to a great video analysis of the game by The Salt Factory. Great channel. Anyway, Sean tries to get us to come around to help in the Institute, but I'm already locked in with my musket-wielding friends, so I tell him to suck it. I give the data back to Sturgis, and I go to talk to Preston about invading the Institute, but I forgot I already sent him to the castle for a quest there, so I guess I gotta do that one first. On the way, I stop at this apartment building just north of the Andrew station that has another Grognak comic inside. Once at the castle, we start clearing out the Mirelurks. They're actually really hard to take down since they have a lot of armour. We get through them all and eventually here comes Mummy. I go toe to toe with her and she rips my head off. So I decide to play hide and seek in the hallways and whack at her legs. At some point Preston got a flamethrower. Preston, where did you get that, buddy? It does take me a while, but eventually down she goes. I hit level 18 and take another point in toughness and medic. I skipped a couple levels because I didn't have the level requirements to advance more of my perks at the time. Hey Carla, could you get your Brahmin off my roof please? Thanks. So we do a bit of exploring around and we're back at Sanctuary and we're told to head to the castle where this old Minute Woman, I guess, is waiting for us. Apparently she knows how to get hold of some big guns for our castle. We head to the basement to find that this old sentry bot down here has gone rogue and attacks. Don't worry, Nick'll get it. Oh, never mind. Ronnie? Oh, crap. Guess I'll have to do it. Oh, right. They explode on death. So we take it down and I finally get the appropriate attire for my station. We get the plans to build artillery pieces and give them a test fire. You know, I don't know much about large ordnance tests, but aren't they supposed to be done in, like, barren areas of land or the ocean? And not at a building surrounded by cars that blocks the main road in. So we head back to Preston, who tells us that someone is going to attack the castle. I don't know who, since the dialogue weirdly skipped a line. Man, this game. We also hit level 20 and take the final point of Life Giver for some more health. So we head to the castle and try set up defences for the fight. I don't have enough materials to build many turrets, so I build some guard posts at the entrances and hope that the AI doesn't figure out how to get past them. Unfortunately, before I can go collect more stuff for defences, the fight starts. The fight is on, and it starts out okay. The synths do what I thought they would and just pile up on the guard posts while I pick them off. It all starts to go wrong though when some of them walk up an area I forgot to block off, and then they just start teleporting inside the walls anyway. This fight is really hard. It takes me 8 to 10 hits just to kill a single synth, and even more for the coursers. I end up retreating to the hallways and trying to funnel them one at a time as I just get shredded out in the open. They're also really annoying to fight when I disarm them, as they have a bad habit of backing away and then hitting me faster than I can swing, which interrupts my attacks. Eventually I whittle them down with the help of Preston and his flamethrower. I must have gone through around 30 stim packs throughout that fight, and I even ended up addicted to Psycho by the end due to how much I was using. God, what a mess that was. If I do this fight again in a future playthrough, I will definitely stockpile more materials for turrets. One of my guys even got turned into a pile of goop. So now we've defended the attack, it's time to take all 4 surviving members of the Minutemen and invade the Institute. But if that last battle's taught me anything, I really struggle against synths. To help with that, I decide to hunt down the remaining Grognak comics that I hadn't got yet. I figure I can use the extra damage on crits, and some more levels can't hurt. By the time we're done, I have a bunch of unused levels to spend, so I decide to pump my luck up to 6 so I can take a couple levels in the Better Criticals perk. I didn't consider it at all when planning this run, but crits have come in really handy, so hey, why not make them even better? Before I head into the Institute, I take the time to change the mod on my pull queue. I take the barbed mod, which is slightly less damage from the sharpness, but the extra bleed damage won't do me any good against the synths, so let's try the armor piercing mod. Yes, somehow barbed wire has a better chance at piercing armor than an actual blade. I don't know, man. So we're in the end game now. Since the last teleportation seems to have fried our equipment for some reason, we need to find another way in. Fortunately, our earlier hacking of the system reveals an old sewer pipe that can get us inside. Everyone hyped for a soul level? This place is actually pretty tough. Right away there are 2 laser turrets that just blow me away. After a couple of deaths, I just try and run right past them. Nothing too interesting happens throughout the sewers, but I think this section constantly respawns ghouls, which is cool. So we get into the Institute and, Nick? Nick, you okay, bud? Huh. Maybe all that sewer water has, like, rusted his joints or something and he can't jump anymore. Anyway, we activate the teleporter and here comes the reinforcements, including Big Press and his flamethrower. So we charge in and we're met with some hefty resistance. Laser turrets and synths everywhere. There is one point where I activate a sentry bot that fights the synths with us. It works great. Until it turns on us. Man, Preston Garvey and his flamethrower. Name a more iconic duo. I'll wait. Nick just executed this fleeing scientist. Are we cool with that? So we enter this area of old rundown labs to try and find a way around, and it is like ramming my head into a brick wall. There are a bunch of laser turrets, and as I've already found out, they kill me fast. If it's just one, I'm fine, but there are multiple, all facing each other, so I have to wait for my companions to take the hits so that I can get the finishing blow. Or vice versa. We finally fight our way through, and we're into the bioscience labs. Oh, better not forget the serum for Dr. Virgil. We don't want to make him angry. I'm sure I wouldn't like that. We enter this area, and 2 synth gorillas are released to attack us. Yeah, that's about how well it would go if you attacked a gorilla with a pull queue in real life, I guess. We get to the main lobby and it's a huge fight. Even some coursers come to join in. Thanks to my companions drawing fire, however, it's not too bad. I can run around and take on 1 or 2 synths at a time. Even this legendary synth with a unique name is no chance. I guess I would know who that is if I sided with the Institute. So we have to get access to Sean's terminal to unlock our way forward, and when we get to him, he's dying in his bed.
I don't suppose it's not enough that I lay here dying. Now you plan on what? Destroying everything? Tell me this.
Man, the voice acting here is so great. I almost feel sorry for this man, seeing everything he knows and loves brought low by his own father. But you know, the Institute are a bunch of pricks who have the power to help the Commonwealth but choose not to. So, you know. So we head into the advanced systems area to get to the reactor, and Preston is so blown away by the idea of a reactor that he repeats his dialogue. I get to the reactor room and, oh man, that's a lot of enemies. I tried to fight them, but there's laser turrets high up on the walls that I can't reach. So I decide to just sprint through and tank the hits in order to get to the reactor. I do go the wrong way at first, but we get to the reactor, plant the bomb, and get teleported out to the relay room. For some reason I have to talk to the child synth, Sean, before I can leave, and he begs me to take him with us. I get that this would be like a second chance for the main character to have their child, but this feels so icky. This child synth was created by our son purely to gauge its emotional response to seeing us. It's kind of gross. Anyway, we teleport out, blow up the Institute, and end the game. Well, that run wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was going to be. There were a lot of problems with my slow attacks being interrupted all the time and hardly doing any damage against non-living enemies. I was really carried through by using VATs to deal crits, and I'm glad I did. Before the run, I considered banning VATs, but it would have been absolutely brutal if I did. So fun fact, this is actually the first time I've ever beaten the game. I already knew how the story ended and whatnot from watching YouTube videos, but for some reason, whenever I played the game before, I'd just get bored and quit before I got to the end. So it's nice to, I guess, get over that hurdle of finally completing the game. So that's it, we are done with this long overdue challenge. I promise the next one won't be far behind. I'm going to go back to Pokemon for the next one, with Pokemon Heart Gold using only a Mareep, one of my favourite Pokemon in one of my favourite games. If you want to see other stuff from me, I also stream over on Twitch, so come and drop by next time I'm live. You can also follow me on Twitter to know when streams and videos go live, as well as the occasional cat picture. And lastly, feel free to join my Discord to get involved off air. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.